And we are live. All right. So I don't usually do a big intro or a lot of fanfare. I'm Al Simpson. I do Vampires of New Jersey comics. I'm trying to segue back into film work again. And I wanted to talk to this fantastic team that I'll be working with later this year. That miracle upon miracle has taken an indie film to the top 10 of Amazon, which is a massive, amazing, uh, you know, feat, really. So I feel like when Hercules in the old movies used to pick up something that, you're like, I can't believe he's picking that up. Or more like Popeye, because you're indie, you're the small guys doing the big thing. But Nick Petros, producer, Danny Donnelly, and Amy Teresa. Danny and Amy, actors and writers and directors. It's a pretty amazing things you do. Generally speaking, you introduce yourselves, just talk a little bit about yourselves, just to people in general.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Danny Donnelly. I am a director, editor, sound designer, sound mixer, did kind of all the post-production on Last Known Location. And I'm from, Westchester, PA, originally from Philadelphia, PA. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
I'm Amy Teresa, and I'm a writer, actor, producer for Last Known Location. And I live in Westchester, Pennsylvania at the moment.
I think we do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Nick Petros. I'm originally from Broomall, PA. Currently live in Aston, PA, not too far. And I am a producer and wannabe actor. Not really, but no, I'm happy to be here, Alton. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Yeah, I ended up acting only because my actor didn't show up. We were doing 48-hour film festival for Manhattan, and one of the guys had written a detective noir. We got detective noir because, with that, you pick out of a hat, and then whatever genre you get, that's what you do. And it was an Italian police detective, and he didn't show that day, and I was producer, so I was Detective Terracitano. The guy had written like a ridiculously good script, but it had so many words, and it was my first time really acting, with other people. And even he was like, the script is just too many words. Next time I write a script, I got to make it simple. And then we took it to Manhattan, and luckily they didn't boo me. And then I had to do the Q&A afterward, and it went well. New York's like Philly and Jersey. If they don't like you and you're in the theater, they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
I was like scrunched down in the thing waiting for the audience reaction, but it said I passed, so I was lucky. So tell me about your process with creating Last Known Location. Like, where did the idea come from, and how did you develop it? Because I think that's whenever I do these things, I like for other people who are trying to do these things to learn different ways to do things than what they're doing. So can you, anybody?
Yeah.
Very excited. What was the process like?
Well, start from the beginning.
So I think
you wrote it.
So I started writing Last Known Location. It's 2016, right?
Okay.
That's what that was, a short film. I wrote it as a short film. And I was inspired by different stories of abduction, and I thought it would be an interesting take on those stories to focus on the victims in the situation. So that's sort of where it came from. And I had basically written a 40-page short, so it seemed a little bit just too long for a short film because. Yeah, it just seemed too long. I had Danny read it, and Jennifer MK read it, and the two of them both were like, I think you either need to cut this significantly or build it out. So I figured I would build it out because I had already gone that far. I might as well see what else I could do. So we kind of rewrote it, introduced some detective characters, and just changed things up a little bit.
Mhm.
And that's how it became the full script. And then, Danny read it a few times and he was really interested in directing it. It was pretty close to me, so I don't know if I could have had anyone else direct it other than Danny.
Yeah.
Or myself. Like, I thought about directing it too, but
Right.
I also wanted to act in it. So
Yeah.
so that's sort of how that started. And then he basically took it from there, and we just started planning it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Danny, what did you think as far as collaborating in different ways? Because I don't want to give anything away with the film because people are still discovering it.
Yeah.
But the script is surprising. Every scene is interesting because it's taking you to different places. And then now that I know you two, it's kind of like, well, how did you know what I mean, coordinate all the different areas to create this, because
Yeah.
it's definitely your baby. You know what I mean? Your DNA, both of you are all over it. So
Yeah. Well, once Amy, she wrote a script where I feel like when you read a good script as an actor, as a director, or anything, you automatically start seeing it in your head, right? You start seeing the vision and you start getting inspired by, the script, and you're like, oh, I know what we can do with this, and I can see where we can go with this. And so when the early process was definitely like getting the script tight. So she had like different versions, like reading it, notes. We did table reads via Zoom because also it was happening, beginning of COVID.
right. Oh wow, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So, and then I visually started storyboarding the whole film. So I definitely planned out like 90% of the film was storyboarded.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, the whole pre-production process was very interesting because we basically took the script, and I think a lot of people do this. You sort of you figure out your locations, how you're going to shoot it based on location.
Right.
And then Danny would storyboard the entire chunk that we were planning on doing. And then we would have to do some COVID testing, and Nick figured this out for us. He was the one who kind of spearheaded our COVID testing situation. We would have really been dead in the water if it wasn't for Nick to kind of come in with that solution.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So you got into it and you're casting and filming. I guess, Nick, some of this would be you. When you get the beginning of a project that feels like it's going to be ambitious and different, what do you see? Do you start thinking, what kind of festivals can I get this into? Or, where could we take this? Or what can we do with it? I mean, I'm sure everybody has their opinions and input as far as where you think the movie should go. How did you develop that?
Well, honestly, the strategy for this film was mainly Danny and Amy. But when I first got involved, Danny and I had just finished working on a television pilot, and they approached me and said, "Look, we're doing this feature. Do you want to work on it with us?" And to me, this was really just something fun to do during COVID.
Right.
Honestly, I
Take
think
your mind off of the madness of the world.
Yeah. I think, we all just assumed that it would be in festivals,
Right.
Distribution. And then, that was like, okay, that would be great. But I don't think anybody ever even imagined to be close to in the top 10 on Amazon, for several days during the holidays. So that's, life goal unlocked.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a breakthrough. How's that changed how you guys perceive what you do? I mean, does it feel different when you do something like that?
I mean,
or is it just like, we're going and we're going to keep going? That's pretty much the indie attitude, is from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was kind of crazy of how it even happened. I mean, I know we're jumping ahead again. We're jumping ahead now to, like, when it came out and stuff.
Right.
We did a festival run for almost a year, like 8 months
Yeah.
festival run.
And you won awards and got more and
Got
more
got
attention.
some awards and it was we had some good experiences with the festivals. Like, they were all really great.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting through a connection. So I did a movie called Not for Nothing as an actor.
It
And
just popped up on my feed that it was a year ago that my buddy Brandon was posting about it like relentlessly. And we were
yes,
talking about it. And him and he did my convention last April. So that was one of the things on the film panel that we talked about.
yeah, and Brandon was the reason why I got involved in Not for Nothing. He was casting, and I auditioned for different parts, and
Yeah.
they cast me in the part of Dirty Pete. And it was a great cast, great ensemble.
Yeah.
Tim was a great director, and Frankie Tartaglia, who unfortunately passed away. I mean, he was so great to work with, and so a brilliant director, artist. I mean, painted all his storyboards were amazing. By the way, they were pieces of art themselves.
Wow.
And he unfortunately passed away. But quick shout out, he's also a singer, and he had a band called Discount Heroes, and we actually used some of their music in Last Known Location. So some of those songs that you hear guitar and stuff is Frankie singing. But through doing Not for Nothing, we actually were shooting that at the same time we were doing Last Known Location.
Wow.
It was like happening, two projects going on at once. I was acting in that, and we were doing Last Known. So when Not for Nothing wrapped up, and they had connection with a sales agent, Brandon Baker. He's out of New York. He was talking to Tim. I guess Tim referred me to him about our film, Last Known Location. Right. He was like, "Hey, I love to check it out. If you're interested in getting like a sales agent or something." And we're like, "Yeah, sure." So we sent him a screener, and yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I could definitely love to take this on." Right? All right, cool. And then yeah, he started sending this. We hired him, and he started sending the screener to all these different connections he had, different distributors. Right. We got like a few. We came back, and one of them was Quiver Distribution was interested, and that's kind of where,
Yeah, and then a whole different ball started rolling.
Yeah, with distribution, which was never our like original goal. It was just to make for festivals. Like, we had this feature film. Maybe we wanted to do a feature film. Everyone was, we're mostly all the actors and crew and everything. We're all friends. So during the pandemic, we were like, it'd be, we wanted to do something, and we did this feature film, not knowing what would come of it. Really, we were really persistent in getting it done and ambitious. So then, yeah, when distribution happened, it was pretty exciting. But then there's a whole other like mountain of stuff we had to do to get the film to where it is now. So
yeah, I was going to say, I think the creative part of making media today is always the love part. The nitty gritty is what you really enjoy. But then once you make it, then it turns into the sales show or the road show or however you want to present it. And it's that part's super challenging. You got to have skills or know someone with skills in both areas for it to work. I think that's what's special about your team with you, Nick, the three of you. You really have that thing that people, I think whenever you hear a famous actor go, "Oh, I really love doing that movie," because it's usually they're saying the people I worked with on the set and the vibe that I got and how well it worked. And all that comes through. I think when you see a great movie, all that comes through in the film, the love of what you're doing. And that's what I noticed about the film,
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the distribution part, yeah, that is key today, to reaching more and more people.
Mm-hmm.
And that, it's true. We did have I know that was really difficult for us to get through it because it was so, it was intense. We had the shooting started 2020. We started shooting at the end of 2020 and into 2021. And, we had to do it in chunks but Nick helped us get a lot of equipment and stuff for some of our locations and our
A lot
sets.
of props and
A lot
set
of the
designs.
props. It was a lot of fun. But I also think like in that moment, as we were doing it, we were just kind of like, all right, this is one foot in front of the other. Okay,
Right.
at this location, that stuff's done. All right, what's next?
Right.
Okay, we have this stuff. Like, I really feel like that we've been just doing that.
Yeah, like one
Right.
step at a time, one day at a time. And also, let's give a shout out to
something else opens up. You go that way.
Yes. And like, I mean, besides us three, we also had a great team, like cinematographer Brian Keenan. He's a good friend of mine. We go way back, and he's great. He has his own equipment as well. We both of us have our own equipment. Jennifer MK, who's a wizard with scheduling and wardrobe coordinating, and she was big in the pre-production phase as well as a producer and an actor.
Yeah. And then we have just all of our other actors are friends too. Like Jamie Carezzi helped us out too, finding some locations. Dax Richardson, someone we work with a lot. He's wonderful.
We use their cars, your cars,
everybody's car,
everyone's car,
Tyler's car. So Tyler Mulholland Gain is his car has been in several movies.
Yeah,
although he doesn't have it anymore, but his car has been in a lot of movies. It's
Car's a movie star.
The car. Yeah.
That's
I think his family are like, now it's like a game for them
to point out his car.
Can we find Tyler's car?
Yeah. It's in there somewhere. One of the Johnny Harr is a friend of mine. He wants to know if there are any plans for a sequel, prequel, or spinoff.
We were just talking about this last night.
Yeah.
Well, you had to think about it, because like I probably told Nick, whenever I talk to people and they talk about writing or creating an IP or something, I said, well, when you do it, just kind of think, would this be a TV series? Would this be a series of movies? Would this be, you have to because today, I mean, you never thought Legally Blonde the musical, but it's out there. There's a lot of ways of looking at your IP and what you can do with it. And over time, you can develop it a lot of different ways. But immediately, if you have some success, people are always, is there a sequel, prequel? What would you, is there?
So it's funny because somebody asked me this question recently, and I really thought about it in that moment, and I said, you know what? No, I don't think so. I think I'm kind of done with this story.
Right.
But then I started thinking about it a little more. I was talking to Danny about it, and I'm like, I don't necessarily know if a sequel is something, but there could be like a prequel, a story about, how, like, I don't want to talk too much about it, but like there is an element.
I don't want you to give anything away.
No,
that was a question.
I sort of think that could be something. And I might entertain that.
All right.
I don't know.
That's exciting. So just from my perspective, this is my personal question. With marketing, what is it that you are doing in general to get the word out on the film?
Nothing really. I mean,
you know what? That says a lot, because the immediate thing, I not to cut you off, the immediate thing when you first start watching your movie, right? The first thing you're blown away by is how technically great it is. You know what I mean? It's like, I just turned on something. They said it was indie. This doesn't look indie. This looks, got that Hollywood, that Burbank, whatever feel, like, the quality's there. So that by itself, and word of mouth, if you're not doing tremendous amounts of marketing, is amazing. That's a testament to the quality of what you did,
Thank you.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we So I mean, there was press breaks that happened before the film released from Quiver. They were sending stuff to like websites and the trailer out and poster art, and they're doing the press release stuff a little bit. But when the film released, the only thing we really did was like did a couple of boosting posts on Facebook, like the trailer and stuff.
Right.
I think though, I mean, honestly, I think it's more word of mouth. That's what's happening. When the film, it's about, I think once they hit like AVOD, it first went to rent or buy on Amazon and Fandango at home.
Right.
Then a couple weeks later, it went to AVOD, like Tubi, not even on Prime yet. It was Tubi, Freevee,
Right.
and Roku and Plex.
Yeah.
Right.
But it I guess on Tubi we weren't really aware, but it took off on Tubi. I guess
Yeah.
it kind of got a lot of traction there.
And that's hard. Tubi has a lot of content.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. It's not like there's just a little bit of stuff on there. There's a lot of things on there to choose from, and they were picking you. So that's a sign, you know?
Yeah, it was getting passed around like you should check this out. I started seeing posts on Facebook and everything like check out Last Location, great movie and stuff like that. And then our distributor reached out and was like, "Hey, you guys are most popular or most recommended film right now on Tubi. Don't whatever you're doing, keep it up." And we're like, "Okay, yeah, we'll keep doing what we're doing, I guess."
Yeah. I mean, we boosted posts and made sure we boosted the trailer. We still continue to do that. Like that's something we do almost every week now. We're still boosting things just so just to keep it out there. And then, but that's really,
well, now you're also getting reviews. You've been posting those lately too.
Yeah. So we've been getting a couple of, like articles. We've been trying to reach out to different news outlets and make them aware that, that we have a film that was shot entirely here, independent, all Philly crew and all actors from Philadelphia area. So just trying to get some of that. And then there was an article that came out that we weren't really, that just popped up too. I guess acknowledging that we were an obscure indie film that somehow managed to get into the Amazon top 10.
Like, look at this, But any press is good press.
Exactly.
Getting the word out. Then people go, well, maybe I'll check this out. What is this? Out of curiosity, So that's good.
Every film is only obscure in the beginning, right?
Except probably Citizen Kane. He probably pre-press talked about that for ever knowing him. So I know you have other projects. I got to ask about Dawn of the Dead because I saw the poster, and I know you can't tell me a lot because you're working on it or it's coming.
Yes.
But every time I say it to somebody, I said it to a few people at work the other day. They got all excited. So. The concept is, brain numbing to people in the tri-state area. So, tell me anything about that project.
This is something that Danny, Amy, and I are working on together. One of a couple different things, and it's a zombie film. It's going to be kind of in the vein of Shaun of the Dead, if you're a fan of that kind of. I think Amy's got, several pages already written. We've got kind of a rough outline of where we think the film wants to be. There's a ton of interest in this film, and I'm excited. So I'll let Amy say something if she wants the story.
So I don't quite know that. So I have an outline, and I have like the first couple scenes drafted, but I'm not really sure where. So here's the thing: is like I see it pretty clearly where it starts. I'm just not sure where we end yet.
Yeah,
so there's all these elements that we've discussed that we would like to include.
Right.
So I'm still not sure how it's going to come together.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it grabs people's imagination when even just the idea of it. So that's a great place to start.
The opening is so tight. It's amazing. I'm like,
it's definitely fun.
I have a huge heart on already for this.
Cool. Philly will love it.
Philly and zombies. Like that'll be the two definite things. Yeah.
Lots of Philly, lots of zombies.
Philly, lots of zombies.
Philly and Jersey travel very well. I mean, I was thinking the other day with Vampires in New Jersey, it's been a real, whirlwind ride from the original script to the comic book to the graphic novels and now working with you
Mhm.
on it this year. But outside of the area, it does very well. I ship graphic novels as far as Australia
Oh, wow.
because
Oh wow.
yeah, I've shipped over 10,000 comics and graphic novels in the last 3 years, and they go all over the world. So Philly, John of the Dead will definitely travel well. Because usually that's the first thing when I talk to somebody, like, it's Jersey, it's only popular. Yes, Jersey people love it as soon as they see Jersey on anything. But once I started doing the crowdfunding, I was shipping all over the place.
That's
So,
exciting.
yeah, there's a big market for the John of the Dead.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to mention a little bit about vampires.
Yeah.
The Indiegogo looks like it's going to launch on January 29th. I don't know. My calendar popped up and I saw it was like some weird lunar day. So I said, well, that seems like a interesting day to launch.
Kind of appropriate.
Yeah. But I try and build up the signups because that's always been the key to me hitting my goal. 100 to 200 people signing up ahead of time to seem excited about what you're talking about helps. And when you open that gate, usually it's like this big flood comes in.
That's
And
nice.
then around the third week, it gets a little bumpy. And then towards the end, it picks up again. So I think we have almost 100 signups already. So people that have been following it through Kickstarter and Indiegogo are interested in the concept of doing the film, the short or full-length feature, which, I would prefer to do. We'll see how much we raise. Yeah, working with you is very. I'll tell this story. I'll probably be telling this a long time. The day I met you two, Danny and Amy, you were walking by me. I talked to you a little bit, I think, at the convention, New Jersey Horror Con. And then you walked by my car, and I was packing my car, and I got this. I tell Nick, I got this thing, like I should walk over and talk to them. Like I just got this urge. I don't even know why. But I said, do I know them? I said, I feel like I know them. I know them, don't I? So that's why I came over. And I know it was kind of, you're like, who's this guy talking to me in the parking lot? But yeah, I just felt like I wanted to introduce myself to you. And I knew you already, which I thought was odd. And then I talked to Nick, and then it all connected.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I think in 10 years, I'll look back on that day and go, that was like the day everything changed. In my case as a filmmaker, as I said, I started or I might have mentioned before, I started in 2004. And just because a friend of mine at work had an idea for a short film, and we both knew a guy who went to film school. So that was the initial thing. That first short film was a total disaster, catastrophe. But I learned from that all the things not to do when trying to make a film. If you want to shoot in an Italian restaurant, find an Italian restaurant, unless you're Spielberg and you can build an Italian restaurant. Otherwise, like a bad play. So, but yeah, I did films up until 2014. And then I was going for my doctorate, and my wife's like, you got to choose. Obviously, I wanted to finish my doctorate. But I kept writing the scripts, and I wanted to storyboard, and that's where Vampires came from. So, yeah, depending on the Indiegogo, how much we raise, and I could also do a Kickstarter. I can, I think we'll be able to shoot later this year. I'll weave it into your schedule because I know you're all pretty busy.
Exciting.
I'm excited about it.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's got some potential, but people are interested in it in general. So that's my piece on that. Can't wait to do something cool with you, three of you. So
It'll be,
it'll
be fun. I mean, it's a really.
And I am flexible. I don't even think I'm, inflexible because I created it. I always, every project I work on, I find it's a better project if I can get all of us to give our input and then pick the best idea. I never care what the best idea is. The best idea is obvious to anybody who wants a project to succeed.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to come from me. It can come from anybody. But things really, with the comic book and the artwork and all that, I kind of give a frame of it, and then I let them put themselves into it. And that's what has made it as successful as it's been. So, and I was always that way with films too. When we did our first film, it was in the Philadelphia Independent Film Festival, and I got spoiled. I thought, oh yeah, you write a film in your car on your lunch break, and it goes right into a festival, and then but bada bing, bada boom. And it's totally not like that,
Yeah.
I got lucky out of the gate. But then once we got them, once we had done the festivals, I was the same way. I was like, well, what do we do now? And when I started, Amazon had only, they had DVDs on demand. So I could upload my film to Amazon. And then if you wanted the DVD, which is how I would post on Facebook, they would make it on demand. So I didn't have to have like 1,000 DVDs in my house. They'd print the whole thing out. So that's how my Who's Jose Luck, my first movie, started selling. And I was like, this is pretty good. I'm selling a few DVDs. People seem to like it, And then Netflix started the streaming, and then Amazon was going. And I said, well, even if Amazon is number 2, because they have the money, that's great. I'm on there. And they were like, well, we already have your film. We can stream it. And that's how I ended up on there. But
Nice.
yeah, man, top 10.
It's still
that's serious, man. That's
still
no
great.
joke. And the thing is, when I got on there, nobody was on there. You're on there competing with Amazon making stuff.
Yeah.
You beat Amazon on Amazon competing against Amazon. That's awesome. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
That's very impressive. Very impressive.
It was pretty cool to see, you have like Red One, Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling, Denzel Washington, Jason Statham, and whatever. And Last in Location. Up there, just next to the beekeeper hanging out, and between Equalizer and the beekeeper or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, it's insane.
Yeah.
So
great accomplishment. Big things coming for you. But what you're creating as a team has really got something that captures people's imagination. So that's the key.
I think
all three of us know Hollywood does a movie. It could be good. It might not be good, but it has $1 bazillion of marketing. So then it makes a couple bucks. And that's way a lot of movies are done. I always say to people, that's why they only give Oscars to how many movies? How many movies? If you take all the movies nominated, and they're good movies, but then how many movies do they make? There's a lot of movies just flying around all over the place. It's very hard to stand out. So for you to stand out is amazing, and it's good stuff. I see big things for you guys.
Thank you.
Hopefully you let me hang out with you a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Old vampire writer guy hang out.
Vampires.
You can only hang out at night though.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing is I really wasn't fascinated with vampires when I wrote it. I just said I want to write something different, and I took the two genres and just kind of mashed them together. And then people were like, "Well, are you like all dark and Nosferatu?" I'm like, "No, not at all. I just wanted to write something different." And I kept throwing other things in. Here's a werewolf. Here's a witch. Here's a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A different interpretation of them. And I just I didn't use all the conventions that we usually use because I just assumed the public knows them.
Mm-hmm.
Vampires can't be seen in mirrors. They're allergic to. Once you know all that stuff, you can have fun with it and do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so tell everybody where to find your film.
Well, first, Nick, were you about to say something before? I want to make sure you get in what you're about to say.
Oh, I was just going to say I'm looking forward to seeing Vampires in New Jersey come to life. I'm a fan of graphic novels, and one of the things that attracted me to this was the artwork in your graphic novel. So we're Amy, Danny, and I, we're very, very big on production design and making things look really great.
Mm-hmm.
We want it to look great. So, there's a lot of inspirational artwork in this, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I got very lucky with that.
Yeah. You have a good team.
The Marvel guy who helped me develop a couple things. And then the other guy was an animator, Connor Cole. And then Chris Ivey drew Werewolf by Night for Marvel. He actually is local. He's in Mount Holly, believe it or not. I bumped into him in Mount Holly. He drew for Marvel and he drew for DC.
Did he do the cover with the werewolf
on
the motorcycle? Yeah, okay, yeah. That's my favorite cover.
Yeah, he did Werewolf by Night.
Okay, yeah.
Literally, I had a friend in Mount Holly real quick who had he has an art studio, and he's like, I want to have a con, but it's only going to be like 3 tables. Can you come over? And I was like, yeah, I'll come over. So I'm over there, and my mom, I think she was like probably 80, 79, 80. She looks at me, she goes, that guy over there looks famous. You should go over and talk to him. So I go over, and the first thing he says is, dude, I love your comic. And I'm like, well, I got to ask you to do a cover, and then I started looking at his resume, and it's like he developed like all these characters for DC. He's drawn Superman, he did Werewolf by Night. He did, really an amazing, lucky. A lot of my stuff has been just like bumping into the people at the right time, like I bumped into you at the right time. So I've been fortuitous, very lucky. Yeah, let everybody know where you're where to watch the film.
Yeah, well,
usual places.
It's no longer, unfortunately, in the top 10 at the moment on Amazon Prime, but go and check it out on Prime with subscription. You can also rent or buy it there, rent or buy or Fandango. And if I guess Freevee is the other one, but definitely Tubi is another place you can see it. Roku, Plex. Am I missing any other ones? Yeah, I think them all. That's it. I think that's all. Yeah. But definitely people are mostly watching it on Tubi and Amazon Prime. Definitely.
Yeah, stream it.
Yeah,
stream it, baby. Awesome. Yeah. Nick, you want to talk about anything before you go?
No, just thanks for having us. Happy to
be here. I like the podcast. I like to hear what people are doing, and whenever I'm in these film groups, they're always asking, "How do you do this?" or "How would you do that?" or "How does this happen?" So I know a lot of people are curious what you've done to be as successful as you are, and I know you personally feel like, hey, we're just like doing our thing and going where we're going. Yeah, that's how it is, But that's how you get there, and it's inspirational to a lot of film people.
Thank you. I mean, we do. Know that. I am planning on. Well, we are planning on also doing hopefully a little short series on our YouTube, kind of breaking it down like how we did Last on Location with a little bit of behind the scenes footage we had we haven't released and stuff. So I would love to. Yeah, I mean, we love talking about the film and what we did and how we did it, and I could talk film all day. So it'd be cool to put that together and just talk about the writing phase to the pre-production to production to post-production.
Yeah, trust me, people will be very interested in that because you guys know we have friends who have ideas, and they sound like great ideas, or they write a script and they kind of throw it into a desk somewhere, and it's like you could develop that into something. You just have to kind of work at it. And they're like, well, how do I do it? And I'm a 70s kid. So I was like latchkey, and I was the kid in the library, because that's where all the information was. Well, now you got the internet. Yeah. I learned how to edit film from Apple. I had a night job, and they had, everything on the Apple, how to use their software to edit film. So I was like, well, I got, people fall asleep at 3. There's nobody for me to talk to, with my job. I'll just learn editing, but yeah, being able to show how your craft, that's going to help a lot of people. So it'd be much appreciated.
Yeah. And just being persistent. Like if you see something, you have a vision, you want to see it done, just do it until it's done. I mean, it took us almost 4 years to finish Last on Location. Like I said, we shot it 2020, finished shooting 2021, and I mean we did other projects 4 other projects in between finishing Last on Location, but including The Woman in the Room, and that was a short film we did while I was still editing Last on Location and stuff. So but yeah, I think it's just you gotta just keep going. It's just but try to enjoy it too. It should be fun. It shouldn't just be like
that's okay.
Yeah,
I was going to ask about how it is working as a couple on set. My company's called Three Heads because I started it with a friend, my buddy who went to film school, and my wife. So all of the stuff that you see, the short films with the kids and all that, she was instrumental. She's actually a brilliant editor, but she started as a coder, and she ended up being an architect, IT architect, and now she runs a division of IBM. So she's a little busy to do editing. But the dynamic of working together, I mean, how is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
It works.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, I really think we work relatively well together. I think, we usually don't, once in a while, we had like 2 fights on Last on Location.
Well, that's normal.
Just 2, but for
if you didn't, there'd be something wrong.
Yeah. And then I think usually
Not big fights.
not big
Like
fights.
small.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Too little. But other than that, no. I mean, we act together. We've done plays together as actors. We've
Yeah.
you know do a lot together, and we're married. So
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been together for
13 years.
13 years. So
Yeah.
we only got married like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
while we were in the middle of rehearsal for a play, and we went and got married, and then came back and did a play. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
Very cool. Yeah, we never had more fun than when we were on the set. We just felt like, God, this is like really cool just being on the set. You know, she's very like, because she's a manager, she was very like making sure everybody hit their mark and we were focused on what we were doing.
Yeah.
So it was fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, what you're creating is exciting, and people are loving it. And I did post out last known location to all my Kickstarter people.
Thank you.
I have like so much data on them. Once you do a Kickstarter, it's like you have everything. So, I was like, yeah, go stream this, and we're going to do this, and connecting everything together. So,
awesome.
Thank
drive
you.
some
Thank
traffic for you. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. All right, I'm going to let you go. I know it's Friday night, and it's been another one of those weeks, and it's been freezing. Nick and I were just talking about how damn cold it's been, and take care of yourselves. We'll be launching the Indiegogo. I'll try and raise as much big bucks as I can so we can splurge it all on the film. And anything I can do, let me know. The Vampires Convention is in November. Of course, you're all invited. We have a film panel, and it's a cool place to hang out. So
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there.
it'll be fun.
Be there.
And everybody out there, and let me see, will there be? Okay, Johnny. One more question here. Will there be a Blu-ray? That's his question.
Oh, so part of our distribution deal is we didn't do any physical media. It's only
Okay.
digital.
Yeah. Well, for the time being, you don't. I always say you don't want to give people too many choices. You want them to kind of focus when you're indie. You want to focus on that one thing because you don't want to disperse the power of what you're trying to break through with.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe eventually, but right now, stream it, baby.
Yeah, 2030. Yeah.
Maybe eventually.
We'll put out a special 5-year anniversary with a lot of scenes footage,
There you go.
extended edition,
Deleted
Deleted
scenes.
scenes.
Yeah. A lot of
People love
them.
that stuff, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
They really do. They get into it. They're like, oh, I could have. Like, I know whenever there's a movie that I love, and they go, here's a alternative ending. You're like, an alternative ending. How could that movie end any other way? But you got to get in there and check it out.
We watched I Am Legend recently with the alternative ending.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I actually like that ending a lot.
I heard about it. I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
yeah,
It's really. I actually think the alternative ending is really
It's better.
It's better.
yeah.
It's better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that's what people want. Those extras and things we never used to have back in the '80s and all that. Now
Yeah.
you can see so many different types of things.
Yeah.
But one thing stands the test of time: quality work, and you're doing quality work, so it's appreciated.
Well,
Thank you.
well, thank you. Thank you.
I always
we
say
tried.
there's enough films that suck. I want to see good films, and you guys are making good films, so great films. So,
Thank you.
all right, I'll let you go. If you guys need anything, let me know. I'll let you know how it's going with the launch for the Indiegogo. But yeah, I'm pumping your stuff out there. So
Cool.
all right, let's keep it
All
going.
right.
Let's get to number one.
Yeah.
Mr. Bezos. I was shocked when they gave me a page because I put 4 films on there, and they didn't even tell me. And I was like trying to click through, and it was like, here's a 3 heads page, and it was like my kids' film and all my films in one spot. And that was it for me. I was like, wow, this is like, I feel like I won an Oscar or something. This is crazy.
We'll say bye, Vern.
But yeah, you never know. All right, take care.
See
Thanks
ya.
a lot.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care.
See ya.
And we're out.
There you go.
Cool.
I think we're out. There we
Ooh,
go.
it says